well, we may not even need the China Exim Bank money again. Since we have, one satellite and we have about 45 transponders, that company is prepared to acquire 2 new satellites in addition to the one we have and provide 95 transponders. If we have that, we will have adequacy in Nigeria, and with that, we will be able to say, hey, as from this moment, no more foreign exchange for satellite expenses.
Do you have a timeline or a target when you want to achieve?
Unfortunately, unfortunately, to build one satellite, to build the 2, it will take 2 years. So even if we have the money today, we'll be looking at 2 years, 2.5 years to get them in space.
This growth, phenomenal growth in that sector, it's unprecedented. How are you able to put side by side ICT to help support this kind of growth that we're seeing?
Well, even that is part of ICT growth. We are happy that Nigeria, number one, we have a huge population of 180 million. So our Nigerians, because of our level of education, because also of the fact that now you have over 150 universities producing educated people, producing people who are articulate, who are sophisticated, and who would continue to require these services. The market is there. All that is required is for people who have money to be, to be proactive enough to invest in ICT. There's nothing like it, because throughout the world, we've gone around, and we discovered that we have always relied on petroleum, whose income from which is reducing very, very fast. For instance, before the Buhari administration came on board, petroleum was selling for $140 a barrel. Today, it is 55. In fact, when we came on board, it was 38. It fell from 140 to 38. Now, but there are several countries who never had oil and still do not have oil, some of which do not even have land for agriculture. And through the use of ICT, through patronage of ICT, they have surpassed Nigeria in all indices of development. So if they can do that, why don't we also key into it? And that is exactly what we're trying to do, to ensure that Nigeria keys into the ICT revolution. And I want to assure you that maybe in another 1 year, we would have moved miles away from where we are now.
All right, we'll come back and take one more item before we wrap up in just a moment. Do join us again. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Honorable Minister, we've got a question here. He says, what is the government doing about internet, making it accessible to the common man? And if you could respond to that alongside the fact that there are those who think that data, that floor plan that they wanted to bring in, is already been brought in through the back door, because data that they use for a month, they can't use it for more than 2-3 weeks now.
Well, the first issue is about internet availability. Internet, you would, agree with me, it's, it requires the same facilities like telecoms. You need to have cable, laying, fiber cable optics, or you need to have sufficiency in satellite communications. For now, we still are deficient in it, in the sense that, accessibility for now throughout the country is about 20%, around 20%. So until we have, that sufficiency in laying of cable to the last mile means to every part of this, country, that deficiency will still, continue. So, but for now, everywhere that you can connect with phone, you would have access. The cost of it is another thing that people have been talking about, and that's the data floor plan that you were talking. You see, there are so many companies offering it, and they are matters of contract. And I know that it's not all the companies that have the same rates. So I think my advice is customers should look very well be vigilant and ensure that they go for the cheapest. At times, the cheapest may not also have sufficiency, because each of these companies have the, differential investment portfolio, to ensure that wherever you are, you can connect with them. And so I want to see it more as, look, you have a contractual relationship with your company, and it could be negotiated. If we get to a situation where consumers can form associations, they can then put pressure on the providers, to say, look, if we have to do this, if we have to patronize you, then
are you going to harness the huge human capital we've got in the ICT sector?
Well, I would. It is true that we have a lot of capital, but in terms of the quality of the capital and the sufficiency, I would still say that we have not gotten to where we should be. If you consider Nigeria with a huge population of 180 million, you wouldn't, agree with me that really we should have about 1% of our population being, skilled in that sector.
How do we train them?
No, well, for now, we have computer studies being taught, but that really, to my mind, and with due respect to our universities, does not really meet the exponential and revolutionary and destructive nature of ICT technology. Because if you have a syllabus, most universities have syllabuses which have not changed over the last 10 years, 15 years.
So what's the new thinking?
The new thing we are trying to do, and I'm happy to say this, by the grace of God, today by 11 o'clock, I am going to inaugurate the implementation committee of Africa's first ICT university, which will be called ICT University of Nigeria. It has never happened anywhere on the African continent. We are going to do it in Nigeria. By the grace of God, before the end of this year, the university will take off. The committee is being inaugurated today. And that will be good news for people who may have studied, computer studies, but whose knowledge may not have met the requirements of industry. When we say that ICT is a destructive technology, what it means is, if you have one technology today in ICT, by tomorrow somebody is innovating to bring in something new which makes what you had yesterday, only yesterday, irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
That's all we have to anchor. We've been talking to Mr. Adebayo Shittu, the Minister of Communications. Thank you for coming on this morning. And that's the show as well today. We thank you all for watching and for your comments as well. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
Thank you. I'm Maukwe Ogun.
Thanks for watching. I'm Gimba Umar.